Hi, JJ here. This is War 1 of Season 62. FAE has matched up against SSX, and Mr. Sinister has the whitelist this season. So, I think I showed the bans at the beginning, I don't remember. My first fight is going to be Nico on Node 9. So, one of the biggest threats of this fight is just the power efficiency. Makes it really hard to, get your rotation going, especially because she has a miss after SP1, and even if you trigger it on cooldown, it'll come back eventually. But the thing with Sinister is he's a very quick nuke. So what we're going to do here is parry and hold our heavy. And over there we dexed and we baited heavy, and yeah, the fight's not going great. But it's going to turn around. I have 4 Mystic abilities, which allows us to gain a ton of extra combat power rate. I am going to be using Sinister a lot this season, so I should probably explain how he works. What you want to do is just hold your heavy to pause your degens and your stun and watch them melt. There I got hit a bit, so that's why I lost some health, but he's normally very tanky. You want to run him with suicides and preferably the APOC synergy, which gives him a 50% degeneration potency increase. And the Zol synergy is also very good. What it does is that it increases the duration by 50%, making it easier to pause it. So it's much more easy to keep up. But the downside of that is that it's 20% less potent. But that's canceled out with the APOC synergy. So overall, he just is really, really good with this full trinity. And over here, we have a pretty unideal matchup. Sinister versus Nick Fury is never really a good matchup because Sinister places bleeds on himself to throw back to the opponent with his special one. However, whenever Nick Fury is fighting an opponent and that opponent reaches more than 7 stacks of bleeds, he converts it into a passive bleed, which makes your bleeds on you longer or more potent, one of those. You're supposed to use it as an attacker, but really you end with light attacks with Nick. Either way, the plan here is to throw my SP1 before I get to more than 7 bleeds on myself, but it's not really working out. I am getting him down slowly, though. One important thing to note about using Sinister is that you will always have access to the willpower mastery. I know that sometimes you'll fight a heal block node or champion that turns off your willpower, but otherwise you're always going to be healing, and your healing can be reduced by despair. So it doesn't matter how many bleeds you have on you or how many debuffs the opponent puts on you. Now Nick Fury is in his second life, so it's kind of frustrating. I'm just dancing around waiting for that to expire, throw this into his block. At this point, I'm probably just going to hit him to death, try to get SP1s off. Not really for the degen damage because I can't pause it, but mostly just because it'll get the shock and poison debuffs off me that are going to do pretty decent damage if I let them tick. So here I have 5 shocks on me, but I transfer them. And he's unblockable right now, and one thing to note is that when Nick Fury is unblockable, he's much less likely to throw an SP1 because it'll get him out of unblockable. So I was just dancing around, not sure what I was doing, and I ate a combo. Good thing I had an invuln boost. He had a big Fury, so it would have hurt a lot. Now I have 1 degen on him. I finally beta heavy, so I hit him a few times. And I'm not going to be increasing his charges because I'm a mutant and I only have a 25% chance on hit, so he's stuck unblockable. So I finally push him to an SP2, and then I'm going to bait it and punish and kill him. So yeah, it's a 2-minute fight, pretty slow, but that's expected. Sinister versus Nick Fury is not really a good matchup. So one cool thing about Mr. Sinister is that in his signature ability, he has different abilities based on each class. And at the beginning of the fight, you start with 3 randomly, but if you knock out an opponent of that class, you automatically store one of those. So as I mentioned earlier, the Mystic one gives you extra combat power rate, and it can definitely scale a lot if you have a lot of them. The Cosmic one gives you a lot of attack rating. And the Mystic and the Cosmic ones are the ones that are most important because see here, I have 4 Cosmics. And I'm going to be doing a buttload of damage, but Dark Phoenix does reduce it because of her stupid safeguard mechanic. It's only doing 10k per tick. Yeah, so I should probably explain the fight that I'm doing. So this is Thorn's Dark Phoenix with Blood in the Water. And the plan here is to simply just kill her quickly. And I'm probably going to trigger a Nova on me, and I did get hit a lot, but the plan here is I'm just going to get her to her immortality, and then I'm just going to dash back to end it. So till this SP1, now she's in her immortality. Now I'm just going to dash back at Light Whip, which is very good because it got her to block. Now I'm just hitting her block, and she's pounding into my block. One thing I really hate about the Nova Flame is how much it reduces your block proficiency, but doesn't really matter. It was a 45-second fight, which is really quite quick. And you didn't really notice the thorns at all there because generally with Sinister, you're not trying to do full 5 combos. The only hits that are really supposed to make contact are your heavy attack and the first hit of your SB1. So generally a very safe fight. And now I have a Cosmic Soul automatically banked. So whenever I enter a fight, I'm going to have like plus, I don't know, I think 2,000 attack rating. It's very high. And I don't know what all the other souls do. I think the mutant one increases regeneration. The skill one increases crit damage or crit rating. And then I think the science one increases regenerate, which is actually really nice. I feel like the science one is kind of underrated. Over here for Zemo, I'm just struggling to get a full charge in. So I throw my SB2 and I'm able to get a full charge. People normally say to not use mutant power backs with Sinister because there's no point. You're just going to end up wasting it because you want to throw SB1s. But if you get pushed to SB2, having that SB2 send you right back to an SB1 is really nice. So that's why I do sometimes run them. And in this first war, I don't want anything going And over here, once I got his cleanse down, it was a very easy and simple fight. Mr. Sinister really wrecking the map. So now we have our 2 paths done. And we're going to be fighting Node 39 Count Nefaria. So this fight I was a little bit worried about because if he goes to an SB1 and he throws it into my block because I'm going to be hard blocking, then we're in trouble because he is going to have a lot of degen resistance. So the plan is to kill before. And I was originally going to use a Power Start 1 boost. As you can see, it's on, but I decided last minute to switch it because I know that Nefaria can automatically gain his degen resistance and his ionic mode if someone gains power very quickly, and I wasn't sure if that Power Start 1 boost would trigger it. So I just opt for the safe route and just go for the parry heavies. And look at that 33k crit. That's because I have 3 Cosmics, which are doing a lot of work. And as you see, I have 2 Mystics. So this means that 3rd heavy is going to put me way over necessary. And these degens are doing 22k per tick. So I'm trying to get a parry here. He won't go. And he finally goes for the reparry. And I'm just going to hold heavy. And then I'm just going to hold block. And he's just going to die. Look at that. 28-second fight, I think. Really, really, really easy. Yeah, 26 seconds. He died very quickly there. Mr. Sinister is such a unit once you can get him ramped up. What a lot of people have been doing is not placing Cosmics because that's how you can guarantee get a Cosmic, like, soul, or I don't want to say soul, that's for Purgatory, Cosmic charge, which is really, like, what increases your attack rating. Otherwise, it's all luck. So, yeah. So, I'm just showing the war over here. We were doing a very good job. We only had 1 death. We had 8. So, the war was, I don't want to say already won, but we had a very sizable lead. Over here, we have Thanos on Conflictor. The problem is that Sinister has a way to reduce purifiability accuracy. And I'm not 100% sure how it works. Then, like, every time they do it, like, 4 times, it gets reduced. Either way, I'm going to be trying to trigger Conflictor before my degen so that I can have them all stick. And look at that. They're doing 23k per tick. And I think I'm just going to charge heavy into the open. Or no, I go for a reparry. And the first parry sticks. I'm like, okay, that was a little surprising to me because I thought I had to parry more times. Trigger Conflictor more times to get rid of the chance. And there it triggers. So I'm like, that's a little weird. There I got my Vicious. Just throw my SP1. We're already 40 seconds into the fight. And he's at 25%. So the fight's pretty much over. And this time it sticks again, and I'm like, all right, the fight's basically over now. I think I turned off Conflictor for good. Either way, I finished full health, and it was only about 40-something seconds. Mr. Sinister just being an absolute unit. And I think I have a few more fights. Yeah, so first of all, we have a pretty bad fight. A fight that I don't really... I'm not proud of this one. It goes pretty bad. I make a stupid decision in the middle, you'll see. The thing with this node is that you get a falter whenever a buff expires, but the plan is that since I'm always using heavies and specials, I'm able to transfer the falter to him, and I'm also not trying to intercept generally with Mr. Sinister, so it shouldn't be that bad. And I have 4 Mystics and 3 Cosmics, so 2 heavy attacks brings me to an SB1. I throw that, the degens are doing 20k. I get a reparry, and Unstoppable's on me and not him, and I'm able to do the second heavy charge, and he's going down nicely. And here's where the problem goes. I have the falter now, so that's chill. I'm able to just charge the heavy even through the falter, and it won't be any problem, except he punishes. and the buffs are expiring, and then he parries me on the punish, and now I'm faltered again. So I'm like a little worried. I do know that the degens will transfer even if I'm faltered, which is a really cool ability that I was like pretty sure of. And there he goes, unstoppable in the middle of my heavy charge. Not unstoppable. He goes into Wrath of Tanarak, which gives him stun immunity. And over here, it's like, okay, I'll just wait out the Wrath of Tanarak and then kill him with the degen cycle after, which is the smart thing to do. However, I'm going to do something stupid. I'm going to try to, beat him down. He's at 4%, 3%, 2%, and I don't have any degens. And he throws it while at 1%, 2%. And at this point, I don't remember how many Furies he has. So I'm like really worried about dying, but it only gets me to around 50% of my health. And there I just let degens try to take him out, but he's healing for way more than I'm doing in damage. So I know I just have to wait this Wrath out again, then get a full heavy charge, and then I'm going to be able to kill with the degen. So I got this full heavy charge. Now I'm just going to try to bait the special. I got a parry. I do go for another full heavy charge just to waste time while my bleeds ramp up. Then I think I dex this and I'm spamming the SB1 button. You can see how I'm blocking, and it's doing 16k per tick, and he finally goes over. So the fight could have been finished like 40 seconds ago, but if you don't die, it doesn't really matter. It just costs a few potions. And last up, we have a pretty cool fight. It's the Gene Boss. Gene Boss was a massive problem last season. People were timing out with Maker. People were timing out with Future Ant-Man if you didn't write. People found that Zola was a good counter, but if you couldn't back them in the corner, you would time out as well. The best thing about Sinister for this fight is he is immune to Taunt, and Taunt was really killing your damage here. But if you have a ramped up Sinister, I only have 3 Cosmics here, not even the max, but I have 4 Mystics, and I'm just going to get my heavy charges off, and I'm going to do massive damage. The tactic doesn't really matter. It matters like a little bit because it's kind of annoying sometimes when they're unstoppable, but you're able to just hold your heavy and get out of it. Also, the amount of healing you have in this fight is ridiculous. There I'm healing for 1,500 per tick. That's because the exhaustion, the rage, and the bleed, that's all on me. Like, it's ridiculous. And there I'm doing 20k degens. I'm just going for another reparry or just regular parry just to get my thing up. She goes unstoppable, which is fine. She puts the neuroshocks on me. I'm going to heal it all back, I'm sure. And I transfer the degen. She hits me again, puts more neuros on me, which allows me to transfer more degens. I have 20 degens on her, so I'm trying to go for a pause here. And I think she goes stun immune in the middle. Yeah, she goes stun immune in the middle and hits me. Doesn't really matter. I throw this, and then I'm just waiting, holding block. Dex the heavy in the corner because she's unstoppable. Doesn't really matter. She's at 5%. I know she's pretty much dead, and she dies in 1 minute and 3 seconds. The fastest Gene takedown I've seen. I'm sure there are faster ones. I just haven't seen them yet. So yeah, that's the end of the war. I'm really happy with how it went, my first Sinister war. We beat them by a good amount. I ended up being the MVP, which is cool. I don't think I've ever had the MVP before. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.